All right then. So today is Friday, April 26, 2024. That is the tractor in question. We will be installing an oil filter adapter kit so we can put a spin-on oil filter on it. I got the kit from Steiner Tractor. I will be sharing the part number, and it's not going to be a long video, but an informative one to where you guys, if you're tired of the canisters or maybe you're missing parts. That's honestly what was wrong with mine. I was missing a spring, and that spring was like half the cost of the spin-on kit. And we know that the spin-on filters are newer, probably more readily available than the oil filters that the tractor originally took. So I'm going to show you the parts. Again, give you the part number. Show you the tractor if you're new. Most of you probably won't be. But we'll go over the installation process, everything included in the kit, and we'll start it up and obviously make sure it's not leaking. All right, so these are the parts that come in the kit. You have an O-ring, hopefully never to be changed. You have an adapter base that sits on there the way it's sitting now. You have a small, diameter where the screw-on filter goes, or the giant canister style. And I'll show you the canister that I took off of it. Next, in this bag, and I was really worried because there's a serial range break. But conveniently, this big piece, this is for the early style. It's also for the diesel 282s. I don't know if we're working on a 706. So I don't know if the later or different model 282 diesel international harvesters have this size, but the later gas 706s have this size thread that goes down through the canister. So they provide that adapter bushing to where no matter what, if you get it for your tractor, serial range or not, it'll fit. And then this is obviously our updated Baldwin filter. I've never used Baldwin filters. I can't say I'm against them. I've seen them everywhere. I've just never used them. This is a B167. Seems easy enough to remember or write down. Now, I'm not going to set that down, so I opened it. Now, I guess we'll go look at the tractor, and I'll show you the old housing. All right, so this is what we're working on today. Farmall 706, 1964. It is a early serial tractor, late serial engine, and an even earlier serial number oil filter base. You can kind of see that that's red and it's been replaced. It was not replaced by me. This is my original housing. Excuse the messy pan that it's in, but this engine just had an overhaul very recently. I've only done some bush hogging with it, getting ready to do a bunch of tillage. Now, you see the diameter of this, that kind of looks like that big bushing I was talking about. Well, that was my problem, is this engine isn't supposed to have that. Now, I'm going to keep this filter separate just so I can inspect it, because like I said, it's a new engine. I was going to run it again, but the pleats look awful dark. Can't really see them, but that's a Wix filter. But I'll keep that, set it back in my yuckiness, I guess. But my problem was, there's supposed to be a spring. There's supposed to be a spring in there, but I actually have a spacer. It's just stuck. I have a spacer in there because I did not have what I needed. This side hits the oil filter base, and actually this is the top. You can see that ring. That's where it seals on this big wide felt piece. This you probably won't be able to see because I just set it in the yuckiness. That was the side where the spacer was. Anyways, we're moving on. We're moving up. Okay. That's the old oil filter housing. Now, there's nothing wrong with these. I've used them for years. And the other tractor, this one, it's in good shape. I mean, it's still red anyways, but I didn't have the spring for it. And it was more expensive to track down the spring and time consuming than just to order this kit. So I'm going to change my gloves off of the yuckiness and then we'll install. So as you can see, I've kind of already got some of our parts, the correct size wrench for that, laying here. This kit did not come with installation instructions. Maybe that's why you're here at this video, or maybe common sense prevails somewhat sometimes in 2024. Just to make life easy, I should go ahead and pop this out of the way. Coil wire. Yep, and the points connection can just hang on back there. Now, I don't like the fact that this appears that you could just screw it into oblivion. Let's get the torch on. Yeah, so I'm going to just screw it flush, and we'll see what happens. Oh, wait a second. I did notice this the other day, too. See, there's threads, no threads. So I think we'll put the threaded side up. They must be anticipating it to not. Yeah, I'm just going to do it flush. I really kind of don't like that, because if it ever sticks, like something you would think should be holding it, but I'm honestly scared to put it in there too far. But hey, you know, you're only scared once and then you chase after it, right? That's a dirty joke. This is my old seal. Okay. Well, we may have to get some kind of a tool to get that out of there because, well, apparently it's sealed. Little pick tool, no big problem. You just kind of stab into it. There you go. There you have it. Throw that on the floor, sweep it up later, make sure your kids don't eat it. And I did bring over a rag because I'm going to clean this groove. I typically don't replace those. And see, there are other wires getting in the way. I typically don't replace those if they're not leaking. And that is for anything. I said that in another video when I was doing some oil filter changes on the B275 tractor we have. Just kind of pinch that, fold it into where, make sure it gets into that groove, and run her around. It sounds like I've got critters crawling in my ceiling. That's another thing you'll find on a farm is critters, that's for sure. We did just buy this farm for anybody that is new or just watching the installation and not a loyal subscriber. We bought this place in June of 23. Getting ready to put our second crop out with this tractor. That's why it's important that it just got the engine rebuild. We just did the side cover, just did the spark plugs, distributors went through, and now it's getting a nice updated oil filter. Yada yada. All right, I'm I guess comfortable with that. Take your O-ring. It's actually a square cut seal. This is not an O-ring. This is a square cut seal. That's what that would be called, but most everyone is going to say, oh yeah, the O-ring. So just kind of tap that in there, make sure it's going to be good. You would typically want to lube these, so I will. Just, you know, a little pocket of oil right there, no big deal. And, you know, maybe I'll be like, dang it, I shouldn't have lubed it later, but I'm confident I'm not going to say that. Wipe the thingy. There's our shiny, expensive part. And it just kind of sits on there. I guess you're just going to kind of square it up over the seal. Get our adapter stud started. Now, see, I'm looking in there, and I did see that bushing turn a little bit, but it didn't keep going real tight, or, you know, it didn't get real crazy before it got tight. And we'll take our 1 1/16 wrench. I'm sure it's probably metric. No idea what the torque spec is or how tighten to tighten it. I'm just going to tighten it till my elbow clicks, and then, you know, that's the elbow torque wrench. Oh yeah, clicky click, right? The goal is you want this to be tighter than the oil filter that you're going to put on it, because if it's not, it'll come out with your oil filter. Now, I do believe that that is tight enough. Let's look around. Looks like it's sitting pretty square on the seal. I'm satisfied with that. I mean, it's all machined parts, so, you know, this fits through here and this screws into the bottom, so that's going to kind of center it all up. I guess now all that's left to do is go get our oil filter. Again, Baldwin Filters B167 for my video record and yours, because we never know if this label is going to be sticking out by the time we get it on. Need to put some oil on that. Alright, we got a little bit of oil off of the dipstick, and we're just going to see how she fits. Screws on nice. Gets tight. Probably will use 2 hands. No, actually that tightened up pretty good. Well, I guess let's throw our coil back on, and I'll pick up some tools and check to see if it leaks. So there you have it. Job complete. Side panel back on. All the wiring where it's supposed to be. Fuel has been left on because of the fuel petcock video. Just to make sure it's not going to leak. Turn our key on, look for a light. Oh yeah, we got lights. See if we got any camera action. It might get loud. I hope not. It's got a decent muffler on it. Oh yeah, that happens too. Might need to choke her a bit. And then we're immediately, actually what we should do, we'll get that start, and then we'll come back down to this oil gauge. Wow, that's crazy. You could actually hear the engine bog down when it started picking up the oil. Now remember, it's going to be low because we drained it from right there, and then it has to fill that whole canister. So you'll have to check your oil after you do this kind of an installation. Not seeing anything alarming yet. It's always a yet around here. Decent oil pressure. It's cold idle. Actually, I'm wanting to say that that's more oil pressure than I had before. Make sure she's all the way at idle. Of course, it's cold. I mean, it hasn't been started in a couple days since we pulled it in here. Since it's been in here, you guys, if you watched, resealed the side cover, went over our segregated spark plugs, and now we're completing by putting the spin-on oil filter kit in. Now I plan on fully doing tillage with this tractor tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, Saturday, April 27th, we got to get after it. I got 94 acres I got to disc. I got to disc it twice. Once for the weeds and twice, you know, you just should disc twice to make sure everything's going to be smooth. Now, I'll shut the camera off for now, get it outside. It's still daylight, believe it or not. Usually I'm in here at 9:30 if you don't know. We'll look at it in the daylight after it's warmed up and see what we got. Is it going to leak? Is it not going to leak? Oh yeah, the part number. The part number for this kit is IHS 3934. Spin-on oil filter adapter kit. I don't know why it says Farmall 4, but there is the factory. I'm assuming it's a factory replacement. 538837R91. Yep, so there you go. That is, that's my name, Sean, whatever. But, want to be farming. Let's get this thing outside. All right, so now we're outside. That sky says I'll be doing tillage tomorrow, doesn't it? But Weatherman says I will. Looked it over. I mean, everything really looks good. I mean, I do not see any kind of oil seepage. pretty satisfied so far. I would imagine that oil filter is probably honestly no better than a Wix factory replacement. But yeah, I mean, it should be convenient. Still probably have to take the drain off the tip of my finger to get the oil out of it before replacing it. But like I said, my issue with wanting to go to the spin-on filter was more to do with the fact of, yeah, it's parked a little bit on a hill, was more to do with the fact that I was missing a spring. And if you don't have anything pushing down on those canisters to make them seal, they won't. So for however long this tractor has lived without that spring, I have no idea. I bought it like maybe like 300 hours ago. I think it's got 59 on it now or something. Go back in another video. I did record the hours when I started it up after the rebuild. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's working. Not gonna drag it out. If you watch to the end, I appreciate it. If you like what you see, come on back. And if you don't mind, give me that thumbs up, and we'll keep on working on these internationals.